Hello, this is Jesse Perryman, your host of the Flag Owners Golf Podcast. Today on the podcast, we have David Olson from Sacramento, California.
I shot 77 once 30 years ago and 77 this year. But I could be anywhere in the 80s. I can even be low 90s if I'm struggling, if the course is hard or whatever. But I have the drills. I have these. I'm watching John and what he's doing on this BeBetterGolf channel. And I have these 6-degree flat Hogan forged irons. And you put that combination of those three things together. And I just went out to Cherry Island, which is Cherry Island in Sacramento, which is it's a fun, but it's a challenging track. And I shot 72 and I double bogeyed the 18th hole. I could have shot 70, which is 72 is par for that course. So that combination suddenly just allowed me to shoot par. And it blew my mind. And so I'm just starting these modules.
Great ball strikers and have found a way to teach that. So that really is the basic understanding of a hitter versus a swinger. So when you got the Hogan Apexes at 6 degrees flat, they had to have been a little bit heavier than your pings, right?
A lot heavier. Yeah. And I had no idea how to control them. And they're just so. I'll go into a little bit more how it was like the next day because it gradually got better, obviously.
Sure.
When I got that, if you could tell me, hey, in 3 weeks, you're going to shoot par with these, I'm like, well, then I'll just, show me the money. Where do I can't wait to get going and practice. But I thought, oh, it's going to, that night, I was like, oh my goodness. It didn't seem possible. And just to add about the swingers release and the hitters release, wouldn't you say that when you do the swingers release, I think that's almost everyone's natural go-to swing. I mean, don't you think? But without any training, I don't know if there's any natural hitters. There may be, but just swinging the club and having your arms, your wrists roll and in the swingers release, would you agree that the club face is only square for a fraction of a second?
I would agree 100%, but that's what leaves it up to timing.
Right. Right. And you just got to time it and whip it through and have it be square right at that moment, along with everything else in your body and the swing and your ball will go straight. But with the hitters, you're working to make that club face, and with your pivot, once you come in under plane and you pivot and turn, and you're working just to keep that club face almost square to the target for like 2-3 feet or something. It's a long time.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, it really is evident in all of the great strikers of all time, because they all do it for the most part. They all do it. And, I mean, wouldn't that be nice if we can all work on something that would take timing out of it? Well, I mean, that's exactly what advanced ball striking is we set the golf swing up to take timing out of it. And it's a gradual acceleration versus just chucking it from the top. And then you leave centrifugal force to basically chuck the club down the line, and your arms start flying all over the place and you're disconnected and all this and that. Whereas a hitter's release teaches you how to properly release the golf club via the pivot and where you're ultra connected. And that is going to be absolutely facilitated by flatter lie angles. Because if you're upright, then you're almost forced to have a swinger's release.
Because you're so high. Your hands are so high.
Exactly. So, and it's not that you can't play good golf like that, but if you think about it, most of us, you and me included, don't have a ton of time to hit balls to find timing, so to speak, quote unquote timing. Right. So doing this is really the better option, in my opinion.
And is explained by John probably on the forum and also in these BeBetterGolf videos. When you have a flatter lie angle and you hit the shot, hit the toe, whatever, when it nudges right and left, it's just a little bit compared to a more upright club. It's going to really go right and left. And so when I shot that par round, in general, even my misses were not far. And a lot of my balls were just going straight. Even though I had these forged irons, I hit them 15 yards less per club than I was used to.
Yeah.
My 9-iron no longer goes 145, 150. It's at 125.
Right.
But it's on the green. It's close. Mishit just a little bit. And it's like, so I was just bowing to the 430 line, 430 attack, and pivot my way out. That's all I was doing, and using those clubs. And all of a sudden I freaking shot par. And I don't even know. It just seemed like an easy round to me.
And you had, what John has done is he's narrowed each movement down to basic edible parts of the golf swing that you work on and you drill with an impact bag. And you work on these individual movements in and of themselves. Usually you do them with both hands, and then you do them together, and you do them 25 to 30 times each. And what that does is it basically gets you to learn the swing motion like he says, like guitar chords. You learn one chord and then you go on to the next, you learn one chord. It's the same thing with this methodology of learning. So
that helped a lot. Now, if I still was struggling with swingers swing and didn't quite know what I was doing, it could take longer, and I think it would be pretty painful. It would be quite a learning curve, I think. But it's not that hard to learn what a hitter's swing is. And I encourage anyone that is thinking or curious about what this is to go for it, because at the end of the day, and this is what got me hooked, I saw Better Ball striking the video, the Be Better Golf video with John on it on YouTube one night. And what hooked me was John Erickson can control the golf ball. His system allows you to absolutely control the golf ball. John Erickson says he can control the golf ball. He can help you control the golf ball. He controls the golf ball.
Yeah.
And that's what appealed to me, because I played so many rounds recently where I'm all over the place. And it just resonated. Like, I want to control the golf ball. And then one thing led to another. And a week later, I'm sitting here with these weird clubs on the range doing a hitter swing with these flat irons. And 3 weeks later, I shoot par, and I'm still coming close to par. And now I have to just learn how to chip, and it's going to be awesome.